Thanks, Brenda. I'm honored to kick off this generic drug forum today and the opportunities to facilitate the American patients' access to these needed medications. As Brenda mentioned, I'm Darby Kozak, the Deputy Director of the Office of Generic Drugs. So today I'm going to cover four major aspects of the generic drug program and initiatives to improve patient access. I'll highlight some approval and submission metrics along with notable first generics from last fiscal year, as well as discuss important programs to improve efficiency and timing for generic medicine development and approval. I'll wrap up with a few ongoing initiatives to improve transparency and confidence in generic drugs. So I do want to start off with highlighting some encouraging outcomes. In particular, in fiscal year 2025, the generic drug program continued to have strong performance with the approval or tentative approval of over 939 ANDAs. Of those, 92 were first generics, 125 were complex generics, and this trend is actually continuing into fiscal year 2026. Over the last 6 months, we've already approved or tentatively approved 483 ANDAs, with 36 of those being for first generics. So the generic drug program continues to evolve since its conception in the GDUFA establishment in 2012. Notably, the volume of complete response letters has decreased slightly year over year, while information requests and prior approval supplements have increased as FDA and industry continue to work to reduce the number of review cycles and maintain the marketing of already established ANDAs. Even more notable is that the total number of generic drug actions FDA has taken has increased over the last 5 years, from approximately 9,500 in fiscal year 2020 to over 11,000 in the fiscal year 2025. So among the 939 ANDAs approved in FY25, there are several notable first generics that exemplify the impact of the work that we do together. In August last year, we approved the first liraglutide GLP-1 indicated for chronic weight management. GLP-1s and other peptide drug products continue to be a growing and critical market of considerable interest. In fact, earlier this month, we saw the tentative approval of the first generic semaglutide ANDA, and we're expecting to see the submission and approval of many more peptide drugs over the next few years. And another major milestone, we approved 3 generic iron sucrose injection products in 2025. Approval of these complex colloidal iron products came after considerable GDUFA research, as well as generic drug industry development. These generics provide greater patient access to rapid, effective treatment for iron deficiency in anemia. Regardless, each ANDA approval addresses a significant public health need while helping to ensure patient access to more affordable medications. The sustained volume of the generic drug-related submissions reflects the continued demand for generic drug development and marketing. We routinely receive approximately 18,000 submissions a year, over half of those being ANDA supplements that continue to help ensure medication labeling has up-to-date information or that manufacturing process includes the latest quality controls. One of our most significant achievements has been the dramatic reduction in refuse to receive actions. In fiscal year 2017, OGD refused to receive 142 ANDAs because they were not substantially complete. That was almost 11% of all the submissions in 2017. Last year, only 3% of the ANDAs were issued a refuse to receive. We understand the negative impact of an RTR can have on a generic application in the generic drug program, so we continue to provide guidance and presentations on common issues that can lead to an RTR. Probably the most common RTR issue can be readily prevented simply by acknowledging and providing justification when an application would deviate from general FDA guidance recommendations. Including this information supports that the application is being substantially complete and ready for filing. Then that justification will be evaluated during the ANDA assessment. So as Brenda also mentioned, one of the things here is, as a reminder, we always want to continue that FDA continues to develop helpful presentations like those being presented here at the Generic Drug Forum, and there's a repository of previous year's Generic Drug Forum topics, as well as other webinars and CRCG events that is a wealth of information for you to use. Last year, OGD launched a website as a similar one-stop shop for collating all of these resources for generic drug development and entitled and put into specific counters so that way you can follow a generic drug development program specifics for style. I encourage your organizations to make use of this website as well as the other websites and resources and materials available. They're designed to help avoid common submission issues and create high-quality ANDA submissions. This benefits not only your company, our agency, but more importantly, patients waiting for these critical medications. So last year, we also announced an increased transparency pilot program for ANDAs with missed goal dates. This is initially focused on applications 60 days past their goal date, but we've evolved this initiative, and we now utilize this enhanced communication approach whenever complicated issues arise that will likely cause an ANDA to miss its GDUFA goal date. If an ANDA will likely miss its goal date, you'll receive notification on which disciplines may be affected, and you'll continue to receive regular touch points with your regulatory project manager on the status of the ANDA. Internally and externally, we've also built in clear escalation pathways to ensure that no ANDA application falls through the cracks, and we can have continued sort of action on all applications. So one thing I'm really pleased to report is this has been a major incentive and focus over the last year, is that of last quarter, OGD only had 2 ANDAs that were more than 60 days past their GDUFA goal date, and we aim to make that 0 very soon. The number one issue we saw last year was actually due to data integrity investigation of the studies conducted at a CRO. This not only caused ANDAs that use that CRO to miss their goal dates as the FDA conducted its investigation, but in instances where the type of studies raised data integrity concerns, it also required applicants to repeat those studies. And this is a real core reminder for industry of the importance of vetting and selecting a reputable CRO when conducting those sorts of studies. So I'm also really excited, I think this is something we've been waiting for quite some time, by the recent Q1, Q2 legislation that was enacted in February this year, as it enables FDA to identify to applicants a specific and active ingredient and amounts in a generic drug formulation that don't match its reference listed drug. Now, a reminder, this applies to all products required to demonstrate formulation sameness, such as those intended for parental, ophthalmic, or otic use, but also applies to those formulations where sameness is a part of a bioequivalence approach. So generic applicants, this means you'll receive more specific formulation feedback from FDA that should reduce the regulatory guesswork and facilitate more timely generic drug development. You should actually already be receiving and seeing the impact of this as FDA has implemented this detailed Q1, Q2 feedback to all pending and submitted controls and ANDAs since the day that legislation passed. So one other thing I want to really speak candidly about, and this is one of the continuing challenges we face together, and that still continues to be the public perception around generic drugs. Healthcare professionals and patients continue to express concerns about generic drug quality, and particularly around foreign manufactured drugs. This perception gap is something we must address collectively. FDA continues to ensure high-quality standards in the approval and monitoring of generic drugs sold in the United States and continues to develop communications to improve public trust through greater transparency about our regulatory process and oversight. But we also need generic drug industry to be a partner in this too. The generic drug industry must continue to maintain rigorous quality standards, ensuring manufacturing consistency, and communicate early and transparently about potential issues with applications and marketing products, so that way we can build and maintain public trust. Before I close, I do want to mention an ongoing recruitment efforts. OGD is actively hiring pharmaceutical and public healthcare professionals. If you know a talented individual passionate about ensuring high quality, affordable medications reach American patients, I encourage you and them to consider careers within the Office of Generic Drugs. If you're a U.S. citizen, permanent resident, and are interested in joining OGD, you can submit your CV and cover letter to ogdjobs@fda.hhs.gov. This announcement will go throughout the rest of the day, so if you miss it here, be aware that you can see it a couple more times. We're highly encouraging folks to join our team. So in conclusion, I'm looking forward to the next 2 days of excellent presentations and panel sessions where we'll gain insight into generic drug development and assessment processes. I hope that you will take advantage of this unique engagement opportunity and remind you that these and other similar resources are available on FDA's website for future reference. As we look ahead, I'm optimistic about the generic drug program and our shared mission to ensure every American has access to the medications they need. Thank you.